Thank you very much. I'm going to be very brief. As he has said it, my name is Khadijah Sanusi Gumbi from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And I'm looking at the role of cultural diplomacy in promoting Nigeria's image in the Commonwealth. Back in the days, we could remember that Nigeria has played several roles in the international system, especially with Africa as the centerpiece of her foreign policy. Nigeria has supported the end of apartheid in South Africa. She has also promoted peace in conflict areas within Africa. So Nigeria has a lot of role to play in the context of Commonwealth today. Now, the role of cultural diplomacy and promoting Nigeria's cultural image becomes very imperative, and it's essential for building a broad consensus today for understanding cultural diplomacy and how it could help Nigeria promote her image in the Commonwealth. Now, we started as a research, so the paper tried to investigate on what really makes cultural diplomacy significant for any country. And then, does Nigeria view cultural diplomacy as a tool in her foreign policy? Can cultural diplomacy help promote Nigeria's national image? If so, how? So we tried to discuss the advantages of cultural diplomacy, thereby ascertaining whether the advantages could be helpful in promoting Nigeria's image or not, and then to examine the extent to which Nigerian government support cultural diplomacy, and finally to provide recommendations on how Nigeria can project positive image in various activities in areas of cultural diplomacy. Now, we tried in our methodology to look at several research on cultural diplomacy, if really it's significant for many countries in terms of diplomatic relations. And for this reason, we tried to examine the scope of government support for cultural diplomacy in Nigeria. Now, in our findings regarding the status of cultural diplomacy in Nigeria, which is based on Nigerian agencies, that's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and agencies of cultural relations, and various reports on national policy that relates to cultural relations. So we tried, in order to reach conclusion regarding the status of cultural diplomacy in Nigeria, we tried to obtain a number of agencies that involve in these diplomatic activities. And then, again, in order to reach conclusion whether cultural diplomacy promotes Nigeria's image, our analysis regarding this benefit of cultural diplomacy to specific needs of Nigeria was applied. So hopefully, we were able to conclude that the success of cultural diplomacy in projecting positive image is a fact, and then Nigeria's image can be improved through a more extensive government support for cultural diplomacy programs. To rush it down, we had the approach to cultural diplomacy in Nigeria. Nigeria's cultural diplomacy is kind of enshrined into her foreign policy, Nigeria's foreign policy, which is operated under a strong cultural foundation. And then, so cultural diplomacy and foreign policy in Nigeria is kind of intertwined, and one cannot separate foreign policy with cultural diplomacy. So we also looked at some institutions of cultural diplomacy in Nigeria. We mentioned, we have like 4, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I mentioned earlier. We have the National Festival of Arts and Culture, the National Council of Arts and Culture, and then we have the Ministry of Culture, Tourism, and National Orientation. Finally, in our findings for Nigeria's cultural diplomacy, we found out it is an essential tool for her foreign policy. And sorry, I'm just trying to be brief here, but I have a full paper if you would like to go through it. It will be available. So cultural diplomacy is really significant in promoting Nigeria's diplomatic activities, and Nigerian government fully supports cultural diplomacy and could do more if other channels are explored, beyond, we have the Nigerian music, we have the dances, we have the Nollywood, so we could do more if the government continues to support cultural diplomacy. So we also recommended that Nigeria needs to inculcate the study of cultural diplomacy in various institutions, because as at present, we don't have any institutions that study cultural diplomacy. So we need to inculcate that in our universities. And then there's a need also to promote cultural diplomacy that is enshrined in Nigeria's foreign policy. There's a need to a little bit separate it so as to be able to understand the significance of cultural diplomacy in Nigeria. So the Federal Republic of Nigeria also must continue to support. It is supporting, but must continue to support agents of cultural diplomacy so as to achieve maximum outcome of these agencies in promoting Nigeria's image. Thank you very much for your time.